This is the Ambient Weather model WS01 color changing night light that also has a temperature feature and a clock feature on it. Now included with the light are the instructions, which are here, and a battery backup, which is one of those CR2032s that fit it back here in the slot. Now the instructions themselves are okay, but a bit small, printed a bit small, and I think could be written with a little bit more clarity in regards to the features and functions, as one of the functions that this is supposed to have is not even actually mentioned in the instructions at all. The instruction manual kind of needs to be a bit less crowded as well, and printed in a bit larger type to make it kind of easier to read and reference, because there are quite a few features of this light with several different setup options. Now this is the first night light that I've seen that combines the features of a night light along with an indoor thermometer and clock. And I really think it's kind of a neat combination, with although some of the features work better and are more practical than others. The light itself has a plastic casing that seems to be made okay, and I like the fact that the battery backup helps maintain all the settings once you get everything set up. But the light itself is about 2¼ by 2¼ inches in size, and stands about 1½ inches thick from the wall when plugged in, with the display being about 2 by 2 inches here. Now, depending on what size of the plug that you're putting into the other outlet, this could potentially block some plugs from being used in the other outlet with whatever wall outlet you're using this with. Now, the display here has the ability to display in both Celsius and Fahrenheit, which of course I've got it in Fahrenheit. It has the date, the time on it as well, with indicators for what mode it's in, and also whether the alarm is on, and whether the backlight, what mode it's in. The temperature portion of the display, as you can see here, is about 1 inch in size numbers, with the various other symbols and settings as part of the display, spaced around the temperature here. The front of the light here at the top, as you can see, has the setting button along with the plus minus buttons for adjusting the various settings. And setup for the most part is fairly smooth and simple, although again the instructions could be a little bit clearer with the settings and all that kind of stuff. But you basically hold the setting button here, and you'll see it flash, and then to adjust you hit the plus minus for what you want to adjust. Now you can set the 12 or 24 hours setting, the time, you just keep hitting set to go through the various different settings, and then of course the date with the month, date, and year. You go through that as well. There's also the alarm feature here. You can set that. Now to turn the alarm on, you basically hold the setting down for a few seconds, and it activates the alarm. And I'll get into the alarm feature here in a minute. But again, the unit settings, along with the different features for the LED, the backlight, the color, the lower and upper temperature colors as well, along with setting the minimum and maximum display, in addition to calibrating the temperature if you need to. Now I'm going to turn on the LED. I've actually got it set to time mode, and I'll get into those different features in here in a second. But once you scroll through that, you're basically ready to go in terms of the settings. But now, again, the backlight with this can be set to on or off, or set to come on at a particular time, which is what I just had mine set to, and I just switched, or set to come on at dark and go off at dusk. The one thing I noticed about at least with this particular light is I couldn't get the dark to dusk mode to work, or the auto dim feature function of this light, because there's a sensor here at the top that's supposed to switch to an auto dimming feature for inactivity. I could not get those features to work with this particular light. Now, I contacted the manufacturer, who indicated this is a known problem for some of the initial lights that were produced and that the issue is being corrected. They indicated they were going to send me a replacement, and I'll update my review if and when I receive that replacement with that particular issue fixed. But at least for me, for now, my light does not have a properly functioning daylight dark or auto dim motion feature. Now, after determining that the auto on feature was not working, now I initially tried the backlight on all the time before I actually decided that I liked the time feature set up to where I could have it come on around 9 o'clock and go off about 11 hours later, which I figure is enough time for the night light to operate throughout the night. Now, as you can see here, the display is pretty easy to read with both the light feature on and off, and I'll show the light feature on here in a second with the lights off to kind of show you how that is. But although it is a bit easier to see with an outlet that's at eye level, such as a kitchen or bathroom counter outlet, than an outlet closer to the floor. The night light part of this displays enough light for the hall that I have it in that goes to the bathroom to make it easy to see when walking. Although, again, I prefer to have the properly functioning auto dimming motion mode, and the dark to dusk feature automatic on this instead of having to set with the time. But as this particular light stays the same brightness all the time, which is fine for some situations, but not for a bedroom, for example. So now you can manually adjust the brightness in this, but again, I would prefer they hopefully get that particular feature fixed for this light, because I particularly think that's one of the more valuable features of the light itself. Now, one thing I'm not so sure about is how practical the alarm feature is for this device. For one, the buttons up here are kind of small, and there's no snooze button. And for me, there's not an outlet near the bed that would allow this to be a location, in a location that's convenient for an alarm. Now, maybe I'm missing the purpose of this alarm, but it almost seems like the alarm feature of this is kind of like a throw-in feature with no real thought on the practicality of function of the alarm feature. Now, as you can see here, the alarm has a small wired sensor that's a couple inches in length on the bottom side of the night light, and the temperature feature appears to be pretty accurate and consistent as compared to my thermostat, my indoor weather stations that I have that have sensors on them as well. The backlight here, and I'll show you again, I have to plug it in for that feature. The backlight changes color based on what the temperature is in the home, with green for mine being the color that mine tends to stay on, being in the low 70s or mid 70s pretty consistently. Now I'm going to plug this into the outlet here and show you the brightness of the night light. Now you can see with the night light here, it's pretty bright. Of course, it's freaking out my camera here in terms of being able to see the actual temperature display. You can kind of see it there, but if I bring it up close, it kind of blinds the camera, so it makes it a little difficult to see. But as you can see, it's pretty bright. It works pretty well as a night light in terms of that feature. Now, overall, even though it lacks a couple of features are lacking this particular light that I have, I still like this with the features and the night light feature combination that this has. Again, I like the idea of this light. I like the temperature sensor and the clock features are cool. The night light part of it's cool. It's only with the lack of the two features that aren't functioning correctly in my particular light that hurts my overall impression. For now, I rate this 3.5 stars. With the fully functioning with the dark to dusk mode and the auto dim mode, this is really a 4.5 star device if those features are all working as they should. But for now, this is 3.5 stars.